Dear friends, welcome to AS American English Center. Take your book number 9, video number 138, page number 189 to 190. So, direct speech, indirect speech, this is what you are seeing. What is direct speech? What I speak to you, exact words, or the words are direct speech, and what I say, you go and say to somebody else. It is called indirect speech. So, direct to indirect, 4 types of sentences are changing. One is statement, it may be positive, negative, then it may be question, yes or no or information, then it is ordering and requesting, then exclamation. So, when you go in for question, there are 2 type of questions. What is that? Yes or no. Yes or no starts with, you see, can't, could, should, would, may, might, will, do, does, did, am, is, are, was, where, then what is that? All those things the sentence starts with auxiliary verbs, right sir. Now, when you use auxiliary verbs, what are the connecting words? You have to use whether or if. Mohan said to Murali, can't you hear? So, what is the indirect speech? Mohan said to Murali, you see Mohan and Murali speaking. Mohan is saying to Murali, can't you hear? Then how do you go and say to somebody, Mohan asked Murali, Mohan asked Murali, then what do you say? Whether, yes, whether, can't you hear? Whether he couldn't hear. What you are not able to say, we could not hear, right? Whether or if, you can use either one, whether or if, he, you changes into he, cannot changes into could not hear, right? Mohan said to Murali, could I help you? So, how does it change? Mohan asked Murali, how do you change? Yes, whether or if, he could help him, he could help him, right? You changes into him, I changes into he, could is could, right sir. Mary said to Sheba, shall I go to toilet? So, Mary asked Sheba, yes, asked Sheba, how does it change? Whether or if, she should go to toilet, right sir? Whether she should go to toilet, right? So, shall changes into should, I changes into she. Mary said to Sheba, shall I carry some books for you? So, how does it change? Mary asked Sheba, yes, Sheba, whether or if, yes, she should carry some books for her, right sir. Next, Mary said to Sheba, should I come? So, how does it change? Mary asked Sheba, yes, asked Sheba, whether or if she should come, okay. Next, now Mary said to Sheba, will this type of sum come for the exams? How do you say? Mary asked Sheba, yes, anybody? Whether or if, whether or if that type, this type changes into, this changes to that type of sum will come changes into would come for the exams, right sir? For the exams, right? Okay. Now, Somu said to Mary, will you bring coffee? How does it change? Somu asked Mary, yes sir, asked Mary, yes, whether, or you can use if, whether or if, she would or not. Somu is a man, so he, right? Whether he would bring coffee, he would bring coffee, because Somu is a man, will changes into would. Somu said to Mary, could I have a ticket? So, how does it change? Somu asked Mary, yes, Somu asked Mary whether or if, he could have a ticket, He could have a ticket, right, sir? Next, Somu said to Mary, will you permit me to use this book? How does it change? Somu asked Mary, yes, sir, say. Somu asked Mary whether or if, whether or if he would, no, she, Mary, no, whether she would permit her or him, permit him, me, him. You changes into she, will changes into would, me changes into him, him to use that, this changes into that book, right, sir? This changes into that book, right? Okay. Now, okay, she would, okay. She would, where's the 8th one? Yes, she would. Okay. Somu said to Mary, will you write the test tomorrow? How does it change? So, Somu asked Mary, yes, sir, whether or if, answer, whether or if, she would write the test. She would write the test. She would write the test. Write the test. The next day. The next day. Right, sir? Next day. So, tomorrow changes into next day. Will you changes into she would. Right? So, Mary said to Somu, would you like to have an apple? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, yes, asked Somu whether or if, yes, whether of is, Mary asked Somu, would you, whether he would like to, he would like to have an apple, right, sir? Next question. Mary said to Somu, may I borrow your dictionary for a while? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, yes, whether she might borrow, yes, she might borrow his dictionary, isn't it? His dictionary. Your changes into his dictionary. Yes, your changes into his dictionary for a while. Mary said to Somu, may I come in? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, yes, whether she might come in. She might come in. You have to use she might come in. May I come in changes into she might come in, right? Because I use she. So, whether or if, you are connecting with whether or if, right? Next, Mary said to Somu, must I do this? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, whether or if she ought to do this, do that. This changes into that, must changes into ought to. You got it, sir? So, now what is that here? Mary said to, present continuous changes into past continuous. Mary said to Somu, are you coming for prayer? So, it changes into Mary, said to changes into asked. If or whether you are using whether, yes, whether he was coming for prayer. Are you, Somu is a male, so you are using he. Are changes into, since he, you are using was coming for prayer. Able to understand, sir? Now, coming here, Mary said to Somu, are they practicing? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, yes, whether or if, they were practicing, right, sir? Now, Somu said to Mary, are you coming for the dance practice? So, how does it change? Asked Mary whether or if she was coming for the dance practice. Somu said to Mary, are you coming or not? How does it change? Somu asked Mary, yes, anybody? Mary, whether or if she was coming or not. Okay. Now, coming here, Somu said to Mary, are you coming with me? How does it change? Somu asked Mary, whether or if She was coming with him. So me changes into him, you changes into ye, are changes into was coming. Mohan said to Murali, are you coming? So Mohan asked Murali, whether she was coming. Are you coming changes into whether she was coming. Next, Mohan said to Murali, is anyone coming upstairs to the dormitory? So Mohan asked Murali, yes, whether Mohan asked Murali whether or if anyone was coming. Anyone was coming upstairs to the dormitory. Is anyone changes into anyone was coming. Got it, sir? Now Mohan said to Murali, is your mother enjoying good health? So how do you change? Mohan asked Murali, yes, whether or if his mother, your mother changes into his mother, yes, was enjoying good health, right, sir? Now Mohan said to Murali, isn't she playing? How does it change? Mohan asked Murali, yes, whether or if you can use she was not playing, right, sir? Whether, yes, he, Murali, isn't it? So he. Present tense be verb into past tense. Mohan said to Murali, are these your notebooks? So it changes into Mohan asked Murali whether or if these changes into those, are changes into where, your changes into is, notebooks. Got it, sir? Now coming here, Mohan said to Murali, are they your classmates? How do you change? Mohan asked Murali, okay, whether or if they were his classmates. Your classmate changes into his classmate. So they are changes into where, classmates, right? Now Somu said to Mary, are you a student of this school? How does it change? So Somu asked Mary whether or if she was a student of that school. This school changes into that school. This school changes into that school. Are you changes into she was. Was is a past tense, are is a present tense. Next, Somu said to Murray, are you a vegetarian? How does it change? Somu asked Mary whether or if she was a vegetarian. So are you a vegetarian changes into was she was a vegetarian, right, sir? She was a vegetarian. Somu said to Mary, are you healthy? So how does it change? Somu asked Mary, yes, if or whether she was healthy. Okay, next one. Mary said to Somu, are you hungry? How does it change? Whether she was hungry. You have to add whether or if. Same thing. Mary said to Somu, are you interested in music? How does it change? Whether she was interested in music. Mary said to Somu, are you Mr. Raju? So Mary asked Somu what? Whether he was Mr. Raju, right, sir? So Mary said to Somu, is the medical store nearby? How does it change? Whether or if the medical store was nearby, right? Is changes into was. Now Mary said to Somu, is the park far from here? How does it change? So Mary asked Somu, yes, whether or if the park was far from here changes into there. Is changes into was. Mary said to Somu, is there a garden in your house? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, yes, if or whether there was a garden in his house. Your house changes into his house. Is there changes into there was. Present tense, do verb, cancel the next verb into past tense. See here, Mary said to Somu, do they come to office every day? Do they come to office every day? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, you can use whether or if. They do come. Do come is in present tense or past tense? Present tense. So you are changing, taking do and using past tense. Whether they came to office every day. You got it, sir? So Mary said to Somu, do they go to beach? How does it change? Mary asked Somu whether or if they went to beach. Went to beach, right, sir? So do go changes into went. Next, coming here, Mary said to Somu, do you go to temple? How do you say it? Mary asked Somu, yes, whether or if he, Somu, you changes into he, go changes into went to temple, right, sir? Next, Mary said to Somu, do you have a car? How does it change? Mary asked Somu, yes, whether or if he had a car. Next, Somu said to Mary, do you have a computer at home? How does it change? Whether or if she had, Mary, so she had a computer. She had a computer at home. So Somu said to Mary, do you know them? How does it change? Whether or if she knew. No changes into knew them. Next, Somu said to Mary, do you like chocolates? How does it change? Whether she liked chocolates. Whether she liked chocolates. Right, sir? Next, Somu said to Mary, do you remember my name? How does it change? Whether, yes, she remembered his name. My name changes into his name. My is Somu. So, Somu is male. So, you are using his name. Somu said to Mary, do you speak Hindi? How does it change? Somu asked Mary whether she spoke Hindi. Whether she spoke Hindi. Spoke Hindi. Next, Somu said to Mary, do you want my help? How does it change? Somu asked Mary, yes, whether she wanted his help. His help. So my changes into his, you changes into she, since she is a female. So do want changes into wanted. Hope you are able to understand. So நண்பர்களே ஏஸ் அமெரிக்கன் ஆங்கில வகுப்புகளுக்கு வரவேற்கிறோம். உங்களுடைய டைரக்ட் இன்டைரக்ட் ஸ்பீச் நேர்கூற்று அயற்கூற்று நேர்கூற்றிலிருந்து அயற்கூற்றுக்கு மாறுகிற பொழுது ஆமாம் இல்லை கேள்விகள் வருகிற பொழுது ஆமாம் இல்லை கேள்வி என்று வருகிற பொழுது do does did has have had am is are was உடன் வாக்கியத்தை ஆரம்பிக்கிறீர்கள். பதில் அயற்கூற்றிலே சொல்கிற பொழுது வெதர் அல்லது இஃப் யூஸ் பண்ணணும். ரைட்டா? டு யூ ஹேவ் மணின்னு கேட்குறேன். உங்கள்கிட்ட பணம் இருக்கா? நீ அங்கே போய் என்ன சொல்லுவேன்? சார் ஆஸ்க் மீ வெதர் டு யூ ஹேவ் மணி. வெதர் டு யூ ஹேவ் மணி என்னவா மாறும்? வெதர் ஐ ஹேட் மணி. வெதர் ஐ ஹேட் மணி. டு யூ ஹேவ் மணி? உங்கள்கிட்ட பணம் இருக்கான்னு கேட்குறேன். நீ அங்கே போய் என்ன சொல்லுவேன்? சார் ஆஸ்க் மீ வெதர் ஐ ஹேட் மணி. ஸ்பான்டேனியஸ்லி இம்மீடியட்லி presence of mind should be very good. Do you have money ingiradhu whether I had money. Did you eat your did you have your lunch? Eppadi solluva anga boy sir asked me whether I had taken my lunch. I had my lunch. Right? Sorry. Inge Mohan said to Murli, can't you hear? Unnala kekka mudiyavillaya. Inge connection word whether or if. So Mohan asked Murli whether he could not hear. அவனால் கேட்க முடியவில்லையா? மோகன் செட் டு முரளி, குட் ஐ ஹெல்ப் யூ? உனக்கு உதவி செய்யட்டுமா? ஸோ மோகன் செட் டு முரளி, ஹீ குட் ஹெல்ப் ஹிம். வெதர் ஹீ குட் ஹெல்ப் ஹிம். வெதர் போட்டணும் அல்லது இஃப் வச்சு கனெக்ஷன் பண்ணணும். அடுத்தது Mary said to Sheba, shall I go to toilet? நான் டாய்லெட்டுக்கு போகட்டுமா? So Mary asked Sheila whether she should go to toilet. அவள் டாய்லெட்டுக்கு செல்ல வேண்டுமா? Mary said to Sheba, shall I carry some books? நான் சில புத்தகங்களை எடுத்து செல்லவா? So Mary asked Sheba whether she should carry some books என்று வர வேண்டும். For her, for you என்பது for her ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. So Mary said to Sheba, should I come? நான் வர வேண்டுமா? So Mary asked Sheba whether she should come. அவள் வர வேண்டுமா? So Mary said to Sheba, will this type of sum come for the exams? இந்த மாதிரி கணக்குகள் பரீட்சைக்கு வருமா? So Mary asked Sheba whether that type, this typeங்கிறது that type of sum, will thisங்கிறது would come for the exams என்று மாற்ற வேண்டும். Somu said to Mary, will you bring coffee? நீ எனக்கு காஃபி கொண்டு வருவாயா? Somu asked Mary whether he would bring coffee. அவன் காஃபி கொண்டு வருவானா? Somu said to Mary, could I have a ticket? எனக்கு ஒரு டிக்கெட் இருக்கட்டுமா? Somu asked Mary whether he could have a ticket என்று வர வேண்டும். So Somu said to Mary, will you permit me to use this book? இந்த புக்கை உபயோகப்படுத்த அனுமதி அளிப்பாயா? So Somu asked Mary whether she would permit him to use that book. This book என்பது that book ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. Somu said to Mary, will you write the test tomorrow? ங்கிறது Somu asked Mary whether she would write the text the next day. Tomorrow என்பது next day ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. So next Somu said to Murli, will you write the test? இது முடிச்சிட்டோம். Mary said to Somu, would you like to have an apple? உனக்கு ஆப்பிள் வேண்டுமா? So Mary asked Somu whether he would like to have an apple. அடுத்து Mary said to Somu, may I borrow your dictionary for a while? உன்னுடைய டிக்ஷனரி அகராதியை கொஞ்ச நேரம் வைத்திருக்க முடியுமா? Mary asked Somu whether she might borrow his dictionary for a while என்று வர வேண்டும். Mary said to Somu, may I come in? நான் உள்ளே வரலாமா? So Mary asked Somu whether she might come in. She might come in வர வேண்டும். May I come in ங்கிறது she might come in. Mary said to Somu, must I do this? நான் இதை செய்ய வேண்டுமா? Mary asked Somu whether she ought to do this. must என்பது அயற்கூற்றுல, ought to, this என்பது that ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. அதை போன்று present continuous past continuous ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. present continuous என்ன சார்? is coming, are coming, am coming, இதெல்லாம் present continuous. Mary said to Somu, are you coming for prayer? நீ பிரேயருக்கு வருகிறாயா? So Mary said toங்கிறது asked போட்டுறீங்க. ரெண்டு கனெக்ஷன் படிக்கிற பொழுது if அல்லது whether, youங்கிறது Somu, அதனால he போட்டு விடுறீங்க. he are coming ங்கிறது was coming for prayer என்று மாற்றிவிட வேண்டும். Mary said to Somu, are they practicing? Mary asked Somu whether they were practicing என்று வர வேண்டும். Somu said to Mary, are you coming for the dance practice? So Somu asked Mary whether or if she was coming for the dance practice. Somu said to Mary, are you coming or not? வருகிறாயா இல்லையா? Somu asked Mary whether or if she was coming or not. Somu said to Mary, are you coming with me? Somu asked Mary whether she was coming with him. With me என்பது with him ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. Mohan said to Murli, are you coming? நீ என்னுடன் வருவாயா? Mohan asked Murli whether or if she was coming என்று மாறிவிட வேண்டும். Mohan said to Murli, is anyone coming upstairs to the dormitory? So Mohan asked Murli whether or if anyone was coming upstairs to the dormitory. Mohan said to Murli, is your mother enjoying good health? உங்க அம்மா நல்ல ஆரோக்கியமாக இருக்கிறார்களா? Mohan asked Murli whether or if is your mother ங்கிறது his mother was enjoying good health. Mohan said to Murli, isn't she sleeping? அவள் தூங்கிக் கொண்டிருக்கவில்லையா? Mohan asked Murli whether or if she was not playing. Isn't she playing ங்கிறது if she was not playing என்று மாறிவிட வேண்டும். Present tense be verb into past tense verb. Mohan said to Murli, are these your notebooks? ஆக இங்கே மோகன் ஆஸ்ட் முரளி வெதர் போட்டறிங்க அல்லது இஃப் தீஸ் புக்ஸுங்கிறதுக்கு தோஸ் ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. தோஸ் ஆறுங்கிறது வேர், இஸ் புக்ஸ் யுவர் புக்ஸுங்கிறது ஹிஸ் நோட் புக்ஸ் என்று மாறிவிடுகிறது. ஏனென்றால் முரளி ஒரு ஆண்மகன். மோகன் செட்டு முரளி, ஆர் தே யோர் கிளாஸ்மேட்ஸ்? ஸோ மோகன் ஆஸ்ட் முரளி வெதர் ஆர் இஃப் they were his classmates என்று மாறிவிட வேண்டும். Somu said to Murali, are you a student of this school? So Somu asked Murali whether or if she was a student of that school. This school என்பது that school ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. Somu said to Murali, are you a vegetarian? So Somu asked Murali whether or if she was a vegetarian. Somu said to Murali, Mary, are you healthy? So Somu asked Mary whether she was healthy. Mary said to Somu, are you hungry? So Mary asked Somu whether she was hungry. Next, Mary said to Somu, are you interested in music? So Mary asked Somu whether, asked Somu என்பது gents, so he was interested in music. So Mary said to Somu, are you Mr. Raju? So Mary asked Somu whether he was Mr. Raju. Mary said to Somu, is the medical store nearby? Mary asked Somu whether the medical store was nearby என்று மாறிவிடுகிறது. Mary said to Somu, is the park far from here? So Mary asked Somu whether அல்லது if the park was far from there. Here என்பது there ஆக மாறிவிடுகிறது. Mary said to Somu, is there a garden in your house? உன்னுடைய வீட்டிலே தோட்டம் இருக்கிறதா? Mary asked Somu whether or if there was a garden in his house. அடுத்து present tense do verb cancelled next. இப்போ do not eat, இப்போ நான் சொல்கிறேன் I do not eat சிக்கனுங்கிற, நீங்கள் அங்கே போய் என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க? Sir told that I do not eat. அல்லது சாரி ஓகே வேறு ஏதாவது இது கேள்வி வாக்கியம், this is only for question, right? I'm asking you, do you eat chicken? என்ன சொல்கிறேன்? Do you eat chicken? உங்கள்கிட்ட எல்லாம் கேட்குறேன், நீங்கள் அங்கே போய் சொல்லுவீங்க sir asked us whether we ate chicken. Do you eat chicken? அங்கே போய் என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க? Sir asked us whether we ate chicken. Do you play cricket? அங்கே போய் என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க? Sir asked whether we played cricket. And the do மாற்றி விட வேண்டும். So Mary said to Somu, do they come to office every day? Mary asked Somu whether or if they came to office every day என்று மாற்றி விட வேண்டும். Mary said to Somu, do they go to beach? அவர்கள் பீச்சுக்கு செல்வார்களா? Mary asked Somu whether or if do they go to beach ங்கிறது they went to beach என்று மாறிவிட வேண்டும் அயற்கூற்றுலே. Mary said to Somu, do you go to temple? நீ டெம்பிளுக்கு செல்வாயா? So Mary asked Somu whether or if he went to temple. Do you go to temple ங்கிறது whether he went to temple. Mary said to Somu, do you have a car? உன்னிடம் கார் இருக்கிறதா? So Mary asked Somu whether or if he had a car. Somu said to Mary, do you have a computer at home? உன் வீட்டிலே கம்ப்யூட்டர் இருக்கிறதா? So Somu asked Mary whether or if she had a computer at home. Somu said to Mary, do you know them? உனக்கு அவர்களை தெரியுமா? Somu asked Mary whether or if she knew them. அவர்களை தெரியுமா? Somu said to Mary, do you like chocolates? உனக்கு chocolates பிடிக்குமா? Somu asked Mary whether or if she liked chocolates. Somu said to Mary, do you remember my name? உனக்கு என் பெயர் ஞாபகம் இருக்கிறதா? Somu asked Mary whether or if she remembered your nameங்கிறது my nameங்கிறது his name என்று மாறிவிடுகிறது. Somu said to Mary, do you speak Hindi? Do you speak Hindi? நீ அங்கே போய் என்ன சொல்லுவ? Sir asked me whether or if she spoke Hindi or I spoke Hindi என்று மாறிவிட வேண்டும். இங்கே she spoke Hindi. Somu said to Mary, do you want my help? Do you want my help? How do you go and say? Somu asked Mary whether she wanted his help. ரைட்டுங்களா? So இந்த yes or no questions connecting word எப்பொழுதுமே என்ன வர வேண்டும்? Whether அல்லது if. Present tense changes into past tense. Present continuous changes into past continuous. Pronoun changes. Adverb this day changes into that day. This changes into that. Now changes into then. Tomorrow changes into next day. Yesterday changes into previous day. அப்புறம் இந்த question sentence, do you eat chicken என்று சொல்லுகிற பொழுது அந்த doவை விட்டுட்டு only past tense யூஸ் பண்ணுறீங்க. Do you go to temple? Sir asked me whether I went to temple என்று சொல்ல வேண்டும். அந்த doங்கிற கேள்வியை விட்டு went என்ற இறந்த காலத்தை போட்டு விடுகிறீர்கள். Hope you are able to understand. So yes or no questions முன்னாடி என்ன வரணும்? am, is, are, was, were, will be, shall be, do, does, did, has, have, had, can, could, should, would, might. So all the auxiliary verbs, all the helping verbs, all the modal verbs, when it comes in front of a sentence, வாக்கியத்துக்கு முன்னாடி வந்தா அது ஆமாம் இல்லை கேள்வி வாக்கியம். ரைட்டுங்களா சார்? Thank you very much.